All right, let's get started on the Pluto return stuff. So we're going to talk about an update to the Pluto return. I posted that video in 2022. And before this live, I went to the video to look at the questions to see like what exactly do I need to update. And the questions that I asked in the video, like I wrote it down here, we asked about food shortages, money, because I think the US Pluto return was in Capricorn, cryptocurrency, surveillance, civil unrest, Taiwan. We were talking about Taiwan in that video. Digital coins, transformation versus death, lots of delays, hope for the future. And what was funny in that video, so remember, I posted that video in 2022. At the end of that video, I said, why do I see, so can y'all see this? I said, why do I see Trump in 2025? At the end of the video, and I said, he came up in the beginning of this video and he came up in the end of this video when I asked about 2025. So I saw in 2022 that Trump was going to be there in 2025. So, let's dive into this. Let's do an update.
Before we start the reading, just a quick heads up. I offer personal tarot readings on my website, including same-day and next-day delivery options. If you're interested, check out the link in the description box below. All right, let's get into it.
All right, so first, let me look at the state of the country. Hi, Trump. Hi, Trump. He's unhappy. He's a bit here goes Trump. Here he is. Here goes Trump. Oh, it's in a week or so? Okay. He feels a bit unhappy with his administration, actually. One, because he feels like they're not, like, he's sort of like, you guys are all, like, what's wrong with you? You guys are all over the place. I can hear him telling them to focus. Like, he's like, what is wrong? I actually see his face doing this. He's sort of like, what is wrong with you guys? So he's unhappy with his administration. His administration. Is this also Congress? No, it's his administration. He's unhappy with them because he's sort of like saying, tighten it up, get it together, focus, guys, focus. We need to focus. Something for him is moving. Well, it could be a lot of things. They're moving slowly, and he didn't expect it to move so slow. He's just like, focus, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. I mean, listen, he has great manifestation energy. You guys always, I always see that for him. And, you know, it feels like whatever it is, he's going to put whatever he wants together. So, you know, there's that. Okay, let's go to America. What's the energy of the United States of America right now? Interesting. So the overall energy I'm getting, and I know that a lot of my viewers are going to disagree, but the overall energy that I'm getting is that this optimism is still here, guys. Listen, I love Americans. The optimism is still here. It's still here. I do think they are saying that some people are going to be leaving. Like, they're going to be leaving the U.S. But Spirit is saying it's not as many people as folks think it is. So I don't know if people are having these conversations online about I'm getting the hell out of here. Yes, people will be getting out of the US, but they're saying it's not as many people as folks think, right? The optimism is still here. Feels like financially strained, but there's still this optimism here, like this overall. I don't know. I mean, technically this feels happy to me. I'm not sure if I would call it happiness, but it feels like optimism. So I don't know. Maybe those are like liberal, progressive, Democrat voters who are looking forward to the midterms. Maybe that's people who are Trump fans who are just like, we love it here. People can be happy about different things. But it does feel like a huge financial stream, but there's still this sense of optimism, of hope around there. Am I getting that correctly? And I'm saying overall United States. That's what I'm saying or asking. Did I get that correct? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Supreme Court. Someone's dying. Sorry. Someone is dying in the Supreme Court. There's some shady business happening within the Supreme Court. Actually, I didn't mean for this to be a like United States politics thing. There's some shady stuff happening in the Supreme Court. No, it's not Trump. There's something shady happening within the Supreme Court. I do think that someone is passing away. Someone is passing away. Okay. All right. I mean, that's the overall energy. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Supreme Court just ruled against Trump's tariffs. Something shady is definitely happening there. I think someone's dying, but I saw that a couple of years ago that someone's passing. To be honest, oh, look at him again. Oh, he wants to come out. He and Elon Musk are still friends, by the way. I don't know if I have mentioned that. They are as thick as thieves. That whole fight that they had last year was planned. It was scripted. They are still butt buddies. This is Elon. They are still very, very good friends. Very good friends. They still work together very closely. Okay, let's get into the Pluto return questions. First, let me ask, what will be the result of the United States Pluto return in 2022 for American finances? Actually, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, listen. What I'm getting here is they're saying the COVID era recession, economic crisis, that eventually is actually going to be turned around. So we were broke bitches, broke, super broke, right? And this is Lady COVID here, if you guys remember her. And they're saying that eventually it's going to be turned around. Eventually. I feel like it's going to take some time. I feel like we probably won't start to see this change until November this year, but eventually it's going to be turned around. And the result is going to be relatively positive. Relatively positive. I remember seeing in that video, and I've also done some private readings for people about finances under Trump 2.0, that 2027 feels like it's actually a good year. And it feels like that's kind of tracking. It's tracking for that. Excuse me. Okay, so will the cost of living skyrocket even more in the United States? Who was that? Yeah, they're saying that okay, random. I'm getting information on Andrew. This is really like very quickly. I'm getting information on Andrew and Charles. So this is Andrew, this is Virginia. This is how she always shows up to me, and this is whatever secret, stuff that happened between them. This is Charles, but this is also him. Like, I feel like people will probably realize, I mean, they should already know by now, but I feel like people will probably realize that Charles actually knew everything that was happening here. Sorry, this is random, but I have to acknowledge it because it keeps coming up. Charles knew a lot that was happening there, and that he may have seen these two together, or he may have been like privy to their relationship. And that's like, you know, a secret that Andrew will tell to kind of get back at his brother for allowing this arrest to happen. So expect for Andrew to kind of like, I don't feel like he's going to go full rat, but he's going to kind of like, you know, suggest a couple of things to throw back attention to his brother. So there's that. And again, I understand that Virginia, she was sex trafficked, but the way that Andrew sees it is that they were in a full-blown consensual relationship. That's how he sees it. And I did an update on that a couple of days ago, and he just seemed really angry that people didn't believe him. So there's that. Let's, you know, move on from that. In terms of will the cost of living skyrocket even more? They're saying all over the world. Yes, all over the world. But it does look like eventually, like maybe later on this year, people will be able to start saving more money. Like some legislation in the US, at least, some legislation is going to happen that will allow people to save more money. It doesn't feel like, you know, people are going to be rolling in the dough. It doesn't feel like people are going to be super happy about what they get, but it does feel like there's going to be some kind of relief towards the end of the year. Whatever changes he made, you know, whether they're real or not, it feels like people start to feel it towards the end of this year. So yeah, globally, cost of living is still going to continue to rise, but later on, there's going to be some kind of relief towards the end of this year, for Americans at least. The United States housing market in the next 5 to 10 years, what can we expect from the US housing market in the next 5 to 10 years? That's also a really big question, guys. Interesting. They're telling me hold on. What do you here goes Trump again. What are you saying about Trump again? Is Biden still alive? Is Biden still alive, guys? Is he still alive? Okay, I think I'm just going to go with the flow of what they want to talk about. Yo, in a couple of months, I feel like there's going to be another. Y'all remember last year when people thought he was dead? I think it was around September, and I told y'all, no, he's not dead. He's just avoiding the press because of those Epstein documentations. But I feel like in a couple of months, there's going to be, or in a few months, there's going to be like another scare or something. Well, y'all won't be scared, but there's going to be another, is Trump dead type of conversation. And it feels like people are going to be celebrating. What is this? Like, you're celebrating a little bit too early. He doesn't feel deceased to me like this year. But Biden, what's going on with Biden? Biden actually showed up. So is he still alive? Oh, he is. Okay, so he could be passing soon. I don't like to read on stuff like that, but okay. Yeah, it feels like people are going to be like celebrating Trump's death, but like he's not actually dead. So it could just be a repeat of what happened last year where people thought that he passed away and he just didn't. He was literally golfing. So there's that. They really want to talk about him tonight. And I'm just like, no, can we please stay on topic? What about the housing market in the next 5 to 10 years in the United States? Not bad. In terms of housing pricing, in terms of pricing for houses falling, I don't really see that, to be honest. But I do see that a lot of people are going to be quite happy about the housing market. Then it's going to go through a lull period. It's going to go through a lull period the housing market, interest in buying and whatever. There will be some changes made to it. At first, I feel like people, so I'm talking 5 to 10 years. At first, I feel like people will feel positive about these changes to the housing market, but then it's almost like it makes things a bit more difficult for Americans to purchase. And what I got very strongly is people from overseas coming in and buying a lot of property in the US, a lot. And this doesn't feel legal to me. It feels like they're bypassing laws in order to buy these houses in the US. So if you have the means to do it now, you know, maybe get into USDA and, you know, they're helping first time buyers buy property in kind of rural areas. Maybe look into that, because it feels like within 5 to 10 years, a lot of like foreign investors, like individual foreign people, they're going to be coming in to buy property. And it feels like there's some law that they're able to bypass or something that people aren't paying attention to. So try to snatch something up if you can. If you're able to, try to snatch something up. But yeah, it feels like the housing market, I don't really see a crash. Will there be a housing market crash in the next 5 to 10 years? No, it feels strong. It feels strong. Individual buyers are really hurt by it though. They're really hurt. I don't see a crash. I don't see a bubble in 5 to 10 years in housing. It feels pretty strong, but individual buyers are really, really worried. Like it's almost like they're not able to buy something on their own. I said in the last reading that people are going to be shacking up. People are going to go the more, you know, traditional route in order to be able to afford the lifestyle that they want. And I'm also getting that American buyers will actually go to other countries to buy, to make money so that they can buy in the US. I'm getting that really strongly, actually. Will home and property ownership increase in the United States for Americans? It's going to be changed, actually. You are going to see a lot of women, well, friends, but a lot of women owning co-owning homes together. So the very first question, so I asked, well, and you know, I really don't mean to be offensive, but this is like about the US and it's about Americans. So the questions I'm asking are for Americans. So the question I asked is, will home and property ownership increase in the US for Americans? And they said, yes, actually it will. But the way that people purchase homes is definitely going to change. You're going to see more women, well, friends purchasing homes together, but especially women. So this could be like 2 friends getting a house together, and maybe it's like a 2-story. One friend stays on the first floor, the other stays on the second floor, and they cook together. Like I'm not necessarily seeing like, you know, the storybook, you know, man and wife marry, they get a home together, have kids and a picket fence. I'm not really seeing that. It feels more like friends, like people getting together as a community to own a couple of properties, and they share it amongst each other. Like that's actually what I'm seeing. So it's, yeah, home ownership will increase, but it's going to change. It's going to change the way that people purchase. Will renting increase for Americans out of necessity? No. It's not necessarily an increase. It's just like it's like people rent because that's kind of what they prefer. That's kind of what they prefer. Interesting. Let me show you these cards. Sorry. It's like kind of what they prefer. And this thing about women buying homes together, I mean, it feels like they would prefer to have, you know, a partner, like a romantic partner. But this is sort of like women who are upset with their dating lives and they just decide, you know, fuck it, let me just go do something with my friend and we'll do that. We'll do that instead. I'm mostly seeing women doing this. Will men own homes this way as well? Homes and property this way as well? No, they're saying it's mostly women who are doing that. It feels like men are still like owning homes by themselves, but it feels largely that women, like career women, who they're sort of like, I don't know what's happening with my romantic life, but my career is fine, but I'm gonna buy a home with my friend. Or like, we're gonna pool our resources together and buy a couple of properties and make money this way. We live in this one, you live in that one, da da da, whatever. It feels like it's mostly women who are doing that, whereas guys are able to buy their own places. Yeah. The guys are fine. The guys are fine. And men who are making like, you know, a substantial amount of money, like you guys are going to be hot commodities. You guys are going to have so many romantic options. And what I'm also feeling from this is that like some of these guys, you know, polyamory may come back in a big way. But more polyamory, but it's more, I mean, polyamory. I mean, but it's like a guy with multiple choices because he can afford it. So like, you know, well-to-do men are going to come back in style. It's going to come back in style. And like I said earlier this week, I saw women adhering to more traditional gender roles due to economics. I saw that. I saw it. Okay. Will it be difficult to start a business in the US after Pluto return? No. No, it's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be difficult. But it does feel like, I mean, depending on what your business is, obviously, but it does feel like the amount of money that you're keeping for some time, it's going to be a little bit less. It's going to be a little bit less. I feel like so if someone is starting a business now, maybe over the next couple of years, the amount of money you're able to keep, like take home. So this could be like taxes, associate fees, whatever. It's going to be a little bit less for like a couple years or something. But then after that, it changes. It gets better. No, it won't be difficult to start a business. It won't be. Some people's staying power to keep that business may be difficult, actually. But it's just the amount of money you're able to keep that's going to be stressful for some people who started their businesses during Pluto return. But Pluto return is already over. It ended in 2024, I think. Will the U.S. enter a period of political reformation like a second reconstruction? That's another thing. So in 2021, some people were asking me, will the U.S. have another civil war? And I remember distinctly saying that it's not going to be a civil war of guns or anything, where like the, you know, two sides of the country are literally fighting each other and killing each other en masse. But it feels more like a civil war of ideas, and that the way that it's resolved is people move to geographic locations that that adhere to their political ideology, and that's how America is going to be divided. So that's what I saw. Because didn't Reconstruction happen after the Civil War, right? Oh, my U.S. history teacher would be so ashamed of me asking that question. Will the U.S. enter a period of political reformation like a second Reconstruction? Not now. The answer is yes, but it's not now. It's not now. Ooh, the answer actually is kind of yes. It's kind of yes. Oh. The answer is yes. Yeah. There's something about our finances that are changing right now. Like our idea of money, our financial institutions, how we handle it, how we think of it. I also feel like work is being changed as well. The way that people work, how they value their work, how they value their salaries, that's being changed. I feel like the majority of the changes from this Pluto return, it's all financial, it's all institutional, not necessarily like social stuff. But obviously that's going to have a trickle down effect on how we treat each other socially. But the idea of work, 100% is changing. It's changing. And how much we think that we're worth for what we make. So yes, it feels like there's going to be a political reformation, like a second reconstruction, for sure. It's tied into the money. It's tied into the money. So here's the other yes that I'm getting here. Here's the money as well. And there's like, it feels like people will be confused, like what exactly is happening with our country, but it ends up working out for the best, for the best. So far, this Pluto return, I'm not really seeing the doom and gloom that folks saw back in 2022. I didn't see it in that video either. This feels more or less positive. Maybe not necessarily because the changes are positive. Maybe it's because Americans are just optimistic people in general, and it feels like Americans just make do with whatever the hell they have. Okay, so your question is, how will the electoral process change? Will we see less people voting? I'm going to ask, will the electoral process change? That's what I'm going to ask. Because there's the SAVE Act that's, I think it's stalled. Oh, I got a big hit on that. A big hit on that. Will the electoral process change in the United States? Not for the better. Will the electoral process change in the United States? Listen, there's a lot of manipulation in American. Are we about to get into another war? Why am I seeing this? I'm seeing people are very worried about the U.S. getting into another war, another one. Very worried. These are foreigners. These are like the rest of the world. Oh, that sounds so arrogant. This is the rest of the world watching. They're just like, are they really going to get into another war? So that's the rest of the world watching. And for the answer to your question, it's not necessarily that the electoral process will change. It feels more like there will be even more ways to donate to a political campaign without actually attaching your name to it. So this could be something with like super PACs changing, or maybe raising the donation ceiling for these people to donate to campaigns. But I feel like a lot of like, if folks wanted money to get out of politics, it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And even if there is some kind of legislation, like what was that Supreme Court ruling that said that corporations are people? Oh, I forgot the name of it. Oh, I forgot the name of that ruling that allowed corporations to start donating obscene amounts of money. I forgot the name of the ruling, but even if there is some kind of Supreme Court ruling that rolls that Citizens United, yes, even if there, by some miracle, there is a Supreme Court ruling that rolls that back, they will still find a way to donate money. And listen, this is not just Republicans, this is all of them. All of them. They're all taking money on the side. They're all being bribed. They're all being bribed. I think your second question is, will we see less voting? Yep, we will. We'll see less voting. We will see less voting. And that's actually going to have dire consequences. It will have dire consequences. Let me ask that more directly. Yeah. The NATO countries are fighting. Some NATO countries actually do want this war with Iran. Some NATO countries do want this war with Iran, others don't. Some do, others don't. This is Russia here. Russia's just like, bag, bitch. Some NATO countries do want this war with Iran. It's not just the US. Let me ask that question. Will Citizens United ever be overturned? Will the Citizens United decision be overturned? No. Nope. I'm seeing something here about Pelosi. No, it won't be overturned. I actually do see someone trying to sue to make that happen, but no, it's defended. It's upheld. It's upheld. So politicians will find a way to continue to inject money into the system, into politics. That's not going to change. That's not going to change. And there will be less people voting. And they're saying that there will be dire consequences because of less people voting. And listen, I actually don't care who voted for whom. I don't care whether you voted or not, but that's just what Spirit is saying, is they're saying dire consequences for people not voting. Okay. Which goes to show that the vote is actually more important than people think it is. I mean, I am of the belief that many of the candidates we do receive are chosen, but they're saying that there are still ways to overcome that by like voting maybe locally or something. How will U.S. reputation change globally over the next 5 years? It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. It feels like the quote unquote good reputation comes back when finances are better. Right now, it feels like, a lot of people are talking shit. A lot of people are talking shit right now. Especially online. That's kind of what they're seeing. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be talking shit, especially online. That's what we see. A lot of people there, and it feels like a lot of Americans, like they don't like it. They don't like it. But and listen, their Spirit is kind of saying, but actually, America is secretly well liked. Secretly, they're well liked. Americans, America, whatever. They're well liked. But people definitely are talking shit. And they're saying that when the US is back financially, that's when the reputation gets better. What was that? I heard Mike Jones, back then you didn't want me, now you all on me. I heard Mike Jones, that's what I heard. Oh gosh. Yeah, so it does feel like in the past, the US was looked at as being like a really great place to be, and that reputation has gone down substantially. It has gone down substantially, especially for people who want to come to the US. That's gone down. And, Americans are going to see a lot of folks talking a bunch of crap, but they're just like, nah, when the finances are better, the reputation is better. So what will Pluto and Aquarius mean for social revolution, particularly around race, class, and gender? What will Pluto and Aquarius mean for social revolution in the United States? That's good. What about class? What does Pluto and Aquarius mean? Class. What about for gender? Gender. The men are getting their revolution. I feel like I've said this before. I think I said this when Trump won. I was like, men are definitely getting their revolution. I feel like, Pluto in Aquarius is definitely a big win for men. A huge win for men. Huge win for men. especially highly traditional men. And you know, it to me, I feel like it doesn't really matter what your sexual orientation is. Like it just feels like it's big W for guys. And, you know, I don't feel any which way about that. But many things that I feel that men, like men's rights activists, have been upset about with regards to their how they're treated by the government. A lot of that is going to be reversed for them. It's going to be reversed for them. I'm not exactly sure how happy they'll be about it, honestly. I'm not sure how exactly they'll feel about it, but like, you know, legally, some things are going to be reversed that will actually help them. Women. So when I asked about class, I feel like specifically white American women are going to be going through a confusing period during Pluto and Aquarius. Very confusing period. I feel like many of them are going to reconcile their desire for a family versus their desire to be independent. So for whatever reason, that's going to hit white American women really hard because it feels like some of them want to shed off the traditional gender roles or whatever. But, you know, they're just like, well, but I want a family. And like, you know, heterosexual white guys, they're very traditional. So like, what exactly do I do with that? So, listen, I've said before, and I know some people got offended when I said it last year, but this second Trump administration feels more like white people stuff that they need to work out amongst themselves, and the rest of us are just dealing with it. It feels more like a struggle between like liberal women and conservative men, really? Like it doesn't even feel like conservative men even, like, yeah, it feels like a struggle between conservative men and liberal women. Interesting. Anything else to say about gender and Pluto and Aquarius in the US? For those of you who think, oh, Black women, for those of you who think that Aquarius is all about treating people equally, Spirit is just like, nah, not really. Not really. Watch your rights. Watch your rights because many are going to be taken. They're going to be stripped away. They're going to be taken. I feel like career women may be hit the hardest. It may be hit the hardest. Potentially. Let's see what to say. I feel like a lot, you know, yes, I see that many women are going to get together, start owning houses and whatever. But like I've been saying since, I feel like I've been saying this since 2023, maybe, that many women are going to go back to traditional gender roles. And it's because, you know, they want to be in love. They want to be in love. And some of that, like, you know, feminist, sister girl, girl talk, that's going to come to an end, ladies. That's going to come to an end. Because, like, you know, a lot of ladies, they want to be in love. And they're just like, listen, if I have to throw my sister girl card under the bus to get my man, I will. I told y'all, it felt like many women are going to go back to these roles because they want to be secure and feel protected. I see it here. I definitely see it. There's like some laws here that are going to really work against working women. And it feels like it's on purpose. It's on purpose to get women in that position of depending on a guy. And, you know, listen, if that's, you know, if that's your thing, if that's the type of dynamic that you want, to me, if that makes you happy, go for it. But it feels like the government is going to be used to make that happen, to make it easier. I'm hearing families first. So if you hear a politician saying things like, we put families first, that's what that's about. That's what it's about. For them, they're saying, yes, we're putting families first. We care about them and whatever. But it feels more like it's sabotaging like this career woman archetype. It's kind of, let me show you these cards again. It's sabotaging, excuse me. is sabotaging this image of the career woman, stealthily, with really positive language. It's sabotaging it to, like, you know, kind of make you a bit more dependent on your man. You know, listen, I'm from the South. You know, that's what a lot of ladies are into. So I feel like you know, not too many ladies will be bothered by that, but my personal opinion, if a government is doing it, I think that's fucked up. It should be someone's choice, not something that they're forced or they're coerced into doing. So I get that. So, and it feels like actually it's going to hit white women the hardest, especially liberal white women. It's going to hit them the hardest, actually. Yikes. Yikes. What was the first thing I asked? I think I asked about, will it be a social revolution? It doesn't feel like a revolution to me. It doesn't feel like a revolution. One thing I will say is that people working from home, or like women working in the home. So this could be like literally working in the home, but this could also be homemakers to children and everything. Like that's actually on the table. That's going to increase. It's going to increase. So again, this could be women like stay-at-home mothers, and they start a business that they work from in their home, or they have more work-at-home opportunities to support their family financially as they support the family socially. That's going to increase. I don't know, you know, if most of my viewers are going to see that as a revolution, but that's a change. That's a big change that keeps coming up with this Pluto return stuff. Like it feels like people returning to a previous dynamic. Well, at least some states have men and women with equal rights if the government does that. So here's the thing, like it doesn't, oh, that woman that I saw with the Epstein thing, she's about to die soon. It doesn't feel like, it's hard to say that it's not equal rights. It's hard to say that. It feels more like things are going to be stealthily taken away, or like the type of language that is used. I'm trying to figure out a way, because I understand what they're telling me, but I don't think that I'm articulating it. So it's more like laws will be manipulated, or opportunities will be taken away, or like, you know, some men will be given a directive like, no, you know, we don't have to abide by quotas anymore, so you hire who you want, and they just hire more men, you know, and because of that condition, women are kind of like forced to just look for a husband to take care of her, or to gather together as groups of women to take care of each other. Like it feels more like that. But I definitely did see the anti-abortion stuff, the anti-birth control stuff. I for sure saw that in the South, definitely 100%. I saw that in my abortion reading from 2023 or whenever it was. This lady, whoever she is, she's dying soon. Y'all remember who I talked about with the Prince Andrew thing? She's dying soon. She keeps coming up. It's going to be a murder. It's going to be a murder. So not exactly a revolution that people think should come from Aquarius. But if you're, I guess, more conservative, or if you thought that, you know, society moved in the wrong direction, it's a revolution for them. So maybe revolution, but just not the one that you thought would happen. And again, I saw that people will move to areas of the country that suit their politics. So, you know, you can live in Seattle and you have, you know, equal rights and everything over there. Or you can live in the middle of the country or whatever, and you have whatever the fuck they have going on over there, you know? I think that's the beauty of the US, is that everything is so different that you can just pick up and move. Compared to somewhere small like France, where the central government is just the government. Okay, that's all right. Will we see better race relations? Pluto return after. Well, Pluto return is already over. Will we see better race relations now that we've gone through our Pluto return? I mean, it doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look horrible. I feel for whatever reason, like women are coming up a lot here. Okay, so listen, I hope that I really don't offend anyone here, but so when I initially asked the question, will race relations be better? I feel like Black and Hispanic women, no. No, not between us. It feels like we're competing for some like government attention, political attention, Black and Hispanic women in the US. So between Black and Hispanic women, no. 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 I'm getting a definite it feels it's very tense. It's very tense. Like it's not outright horrible, but it's really tense and it's very obvious that it's tense. And it feels like because there's a competition for political attention, governmental attention, something like that. Overall, I feel like people are going to be more open about how they speak and how they feel about different races in the US. And that's going to cause problems, obviously. It's not a hard yes, but it's not like totally bad. Oh gosh, this answer is horrible. It's horrible. But it feels like they're saying that children will get along. Children will still get along. But people will definitely be more open about how they feel about each other. So that PC stuff, that's over. That's over between everybody. It's done. PC is done. It's dead. Yikes. Yikes on a bike. Talked about race really quickly. What will Pluto return mean for Black Americans? What will the end of Pluto return mean for Black America? I feel like my gosh, guys, this is coming up again. Okay. So what I'm seeing here, Hispanic women is coming up again when I ask about Black America. Make of that what you will, but it's coming up here again as like political block. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of competition for Hispanic and Black women in the US after this Pluto return. So a lot of folks are going to be courting both groups. A lot of people will be interested in getting the political power of both groups. So, make your choice wisely, yada, yada. As for Black America, I feel like this is saying that babies are not going to be born. Not as much. Like the birth rate is going to slow down significantly for Black America. Significantly. You take that as you will. I see more financial prosperity, but this feels like a lot of single people in Black America. Single people. Lots of single people. Single people making more money, but they're still single. And this sort of like reticency to like build a family, like you have wealth, but like what family are you passing it? Oh, I feel like they're talking trash about me right now. Like you have the wealth, but where's the family to pass this down to? So I feel like, Black America is going to be asking ourselves questions about that. and that there's going to be many political groups who are trying to compete for the attention of Black and Hispanic women. So they're saying that there's a lot of power, there's a lot of political power in the Black and Hispanic community. And so many folks are going to be vying for your attention. I can do a separate Black America reading. I do see finances increasing, but like, you know, marriage and child rates decrease. Now that Pluto return is done, how will music change? Definitely, women are so competitive in the US. Oh my gosh. Why does it feel like the masculine energy in the US is kind of just coasting? Like they're doing good, but like women are competing against each other. It is so crazy how much competing I see between women in the US. What the F? It feels like, so this is a little bit more esoteric, more conspiratorial, but it feels like in the entertainment industry, there's going to be a high competition for the next queen bee. So I feel like Beyonce, she's going to fade, you know, she's going to fade. I feel like her interest in music really isn't there as much as it used to. This is kind of her 3-part thing is kind of a swan song for her. There's going to be so much competition for who's going to take her place. So much competition. I feel like Taylor Swift is like the #1. I'm not exactly sure who this woman is. This lady is white. She's not Black. But there's going to be some fierce competition over who takes Beyonce's place. It's there. It's there. And it's women. It's women leading. Women. It's not men. It's women. I don't think there's like a king of Hollywood. If there is, he wouldn't be an entertainer. Actually, some good ass music coming out. Some good music coming out. Musicians, they're not going to be making a bunch of money. The industry is constricting onto itself, but that's going to allow for more independent people to come out and release some beautiful music. Healing music, actually. I actually feel like sort of like aggressive music. So I guess something like rock, maybe certain rap genres, that's going to fade away over time. People are going to want to hear uplifting, positive things that actually positively affect their energy. People are going to be more concerned about that. So more like easy listening, maybe even some bossa nova type of stuff, bossa nova influence type of stuff. Like it feels like the hard rock, the metal, what's grind? Is it called grime? What is it called? It sounds so old. That's not going to be popular anymore. It's not going to be popular. More poppy, more elevator style music. That's going to be more popular. More happy stuff, more uplifting things. That's going to be more popular coming through. There's going to be a lot of independent people releasing really good, feel-good music, actually. It feels cleaner. The lyrical content, not the industry itself, but lyrical content feels cleaner. Will there be more female global pop stars? I feel like yes. Will there be more female global pop stars? Yep. They're also saying that more non-Americans, these feel like plants, honestly, but more non-Americans will be planted in the US music scene. More non-Americans will be planted in the US American scene, and they'll get global recognition as well. So definitely more female pop stars. They're going to be fighting over queen bee status, and more people from overseas just become really popular here, and then they just take off. They take off. But it feels like good music, good music. I feel like music has been in a drought. The last time I really loved the American music scene was, I think, maybe like 2013, where I feel like, damn, so much good stuff is coming out. I haven't felt that in a long time. Will AI artists rise in the United States? Trump, is he dying for real? Why does this keep coming out? Or is this Charles? Is this Trump? No, that's not him. Is this Charles? Oh, is this Putin? Yeah, Charles is. All these people are dying. Let me show you this. This isn't Trump. It's not Trump. I think this is Charles. Bam, 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 bam. Hospitalized for a while, and then he passes quietly. Okay. Will AI artists rise in the United States? Will AI artists rise in the United States? No. No. There may even be not necessarily a ban, but deep regulation about that. So I feel like, okay. So the way that I asked the question about AI artists, the way I asked the question about AI artists, the way that I conceptualize it is, we know that this is an AI artist. Now, people using AI to create music, that's a totally different ballgame. I feel like that's going to rise. But AI artists, like, an AI actress, an AI singer, no, it feels like people will try to get it off the ground, but it's not going to take off. It's not going to take off. And eventually there could be some kind of like, it doesn't feel like a ban, but a deep regulation on AI artists, especially in arts and music and whatever. There's going to be a deep regulation on that. I feel like a man and woman are actually going to introduce that. They're really going to fight against it. So no. US is not going for that. They're not going for that. Thankfully. Okay. Okay, so will the film industry bounce back? Independence, yes. Independent film, yes. As it stands, it feels like actors are in a bind. Well, actors and musicians, they're in a bind. So I feel like once people get out of these horrible contracts, like these 360 contracts, or these production contracts where they have to show up for XYZ director or whatever, once they release themselves from their contracts, people are going to go more independent. Will the film industry bounce back? Yes, film will. Will the gaming industry bounce back from the current struggles they're facing? Are they going through a lot of layoffs? Gaming, that one, I don't know about that one. I feel like definitely the next 8 months feels like it's going to be really heavy with layoffs. And then there could be a lot of companies move overseas. Layoffs and hardware shortages. Okay, a lot of companies move overseas and they find a stronger presence over there. So that one feels like it's not super positive. Oh, but let me show you film. Absolutely, film is going to bounce back for sure, 100%. Film will bounce back. Gaming, it feels like there's still times of struggle. Definitely the next 8 months are going to be really bad with regards to layoffs, for sure. And then these companies move completely overseas. Some of them, they move completely overseas and they find their footing again. But that feels like it's further off. AI is sucking up all the hardware. I see. But getting better feels like it's much further off than film. What time is it actually? I need to log my walking. Okay, so last 3 questions. During Pluto in Aquarius, will Americans have any significant public revelations about extraterrestrial life? There have already been revelations about it, actually. They're saying there have already been revelations about it. It feels like the government has tacitly admitted to working with ETs already. Is that true? I've done 1 alien video. You know, a lot of people have been asking me about aliens in their private readings. It's so funny. But it feels like the government somewhere, they've already admitted to working with ETs already. They've already admitted that. But it feels like it wasn't explicit. It wasn't explicit. I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's true, because I don't, you know. They made announcements about an info drop soon. Oh, okay. Will there be any more significant public revelations about extraterrestrial advice in the next 5 years? No. They're still keeping secrets. No, it's not going to be that significant. It feels like a lot of information has already come out, but it's sort of like coded language almost. Here, they're like, nope, they're still holding back. Still holding back big time. Still many secrets. Still holding back. No, it doesn't feel significant at all. Did Trump say that? Because I feel like, you know, he's not releasing anything. He's not releasing anything. Not anything of consequence that hasn't already been discussed before. Not really. Will China become more of an economic power? Will China become more of an economic power? Interesting. What I'm getting from them intuitively is that they, it's like the way that okay. So the answer is yes. Actually, it feels like more people will start liking what they see from China. More people from the outside, they'll start liking Chinese government or Chinese style of governance. But what I'm getting on the inside is they're saying that like women specifically don't have that many rights there. And what I got intuitively from this as well is that China is already an economic power, but if they continue to treat women the way that they do, their chances of being the next superpower is going to lower. I've seen this before years ago, I think in like 2020 or something, but I feel like I saw this when I was reading with a friend, where it feels like China is supposed to be the next superpower, but the way that they treat their women is going to hold them back. Yes. Okay. So yes, they will, but what they're saying is that the treatment of women is holding them back. So here this is. This feels more like the current China, the current version of China is still pretty young. It's still pretty young. They're going to increase their economy even more, but eventually there is a slowdown. And then also this sort of like war drum that I'm getting. Oh, it was mentioned in a BRICS video. Oh, okay. But there's this war that I'm getting as well, like potential world war that, you know, the powers that be seem intent on starting. There's also that could put a wrench in that plan. What was the rest of your question? Will China still try to unify with Taiwan? I don't know about that. Didn't he recently fire a bunch of people from his military? Xi Jinping. Usually that happens when someone is about to go to war. I'm not sure about that. I feel it feels more like they will try to do it in a backhanded way to reunite with Taiwan. They will try to do it in a backhanded way, but I don't, so far I don't really see them being successful with Taiwan. How will Uranus and Gemini affect the U.S. partnerships in the 7th house? Lots of fighting. Is Uranus a planet of ups and downs, unexpected moves? Unexpected moves. I see lots of fighting. I see a lot of insecurity, uncertainty, manipulation, people getting what they want, people not getting what they want. But I also see the US acting like, you know, kind of a bit of a dictator towards their partners. And they're sort of like, you know, the more the US act this way, the more the US gets what they want. So it's just very up and down. It's very up and down, but it feels like in the end, US gets what they want for the most part, What's the advice for America? Interesting. You said Sagittarius? Leave the past behind. Leave the past behind. See the bigger picture. Here's the Sagittarius rising. So this feels like expansion. And then take expired action. This is a Virgo card, but I tend to see this as Aries as well. And that Emperor that I got for US behavior, that is Aries energy. So I mean, a lot of people are just like, oh, you know, when a Pluto return happens, that's the end of an empire. It doesn't feel like the end for the US. It feels like a massive change. I think the worst part of this reading was that race relations do not get better, basically. And that, you know, there are new, and also what's happening with women doesn't get better. Yeah, if you want to continue to make money, you want to buy property. Oh, we didn't ask about crypto and stuff, but I feel like that's all in the original video. Yeah, if you want to keep making money, it's there. If you want to buy homes, it's still there. It doesn't feel like the end of the US. It just feels like, you know, birthing pains and people separate based on political ideology. So, all right, people. That's it for the Pluto return update. Yeah, that's it for the Pluto return update. If you want a reading, go to www.hebromore.com. I think by this time my Keen profile is going to be up. So if you want a short same day reading from me and you don't want to go through the hassle of scheduling a full hour on my website, you can find me on Keen. I think my name is Moko Knows Best on there. I need to double check. But yeah. So there's that. See you guys the next time.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this reading and want something more personal, I offer private tarot readings tailored just for you. Whether you're curious about your love life, your career path, spiritual and personal growth, or if you are seeking clarity on a specific situation, there's a reading to support you. I also specialize in celebrity readings, providing intuitive and respectful insights on your favorite celebs and how their energy may connect with yours. Most of my readings are written, but I also offer live readings for 30 minutes, 1 hour, or more. And if you need answers fast, I offer same day and next day delivery options for quick clarity right away. You can find me on Etsy, on my website www.tarotbymoko, or click the link in the description box below. Until next time, trust your intuition and take care.